All right, good afternoon, traders. Thank you for being here today. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my social media. Thank you for everybody that shares. Special shout out, Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, everybody. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and do the evening video here. And let's take a look at the markets. We're going to move this over to the side. And we're going to pick up SPY on the 10-minute chart. Going to reload the page here. All right, so we got 10-minute consolidation. I'm going to call it bullish consolidation because we came from the lower area down here. So 10-minute bullish consolidation on the same latitude as what we left off with yesterday. All right, so kind of showing us head and shoulders, this being the head in the overnight post market, and this being left shoulder, this being the right shoulder. We'll see what happens overnight, but here we are with a 10-minute chart. I'm going to call it 10-minute bullish consolidation right on the VWAP line right there. All right, so what did we trade today? Well, we traded a 10-minute downtrend that hit support right about here, right where VWAP left off yesterday. We found support right there. And then we started a 10-minute uptrend that kind of peaked out here at 684 and then just went sideways for the rest of the day. Had a little thriller trade at the end of the day, but I was looking for higher. I was actually looking for today's open. They may get up there later on in the post market. We'll see what happens in the post market. We haven't got a post market candle yet. But I can already see it's going up there higher. So there's 10-minute chart, 10-minute bullish consolidation into the close. I said it was going to possibly be a chop day. Wasn't really a chop day, but we're up over it. We came down under it. We went up over it. We came on under it, and we went over it. So it's kind of choppy for me. But had a double bottom here, higher low. All right, looking for the bulls to be inspired, put in the higher high. Looking for that on the thriller trade, but didn't quite manifest. There it goes now. Looks like it's ready to rip right now in the aftermarket hours. They may do it. They may do it right after options close at 4:15. So we'll see what happens, but that's what it's looking like right now. So there's SPY on the 10-minute bullish consolidation. 2-hour chart. Let's see if we got the candles. We got the 3 EMA right up here. Let's move this down. Okay, so the yellow line is the 3 EMA. Let me turn some of this off so you can see it. Okay, so here's the yellow line. There's the 3 EMA right there. And you can see the yellow line. You can see daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. They're not pointed up, but they're pointed to the right. Slanted slightly to the upside. Not much. So I'm going to call it a continuation of the 2-hour uptrend. You can see obviously this was pointed up. These are kind of moving over to the right. So 2-hour, you could call it bullish consolidation if you wanted to. 2-hour bullish consolidation or 2-hour uptrend. Daily chart. On the daily chart for the candle for today, We got a higher low and a higher high, closing up over a bullish trap, up over flat or wavy 17. We still got to take out this high over here. Okay, so we got to take out that high in order to be in an uptrend. We got ourselves in a downtrend by making a lower low right here. It's a low. We made a lower low, so that puts us in a downtrend. But get this, we may be in a downtrend, okay, once we hit this candle right here, but we're not moving down, okay? So that's a huge clue. Downtrend that's not working out, that goes in favor of the bulls right there. So nice work there on the bulls fighting off the downtrend that we're currently in. And we'll look at the scratch. We'll zoom way out on the daily chart. Okay, so you can see here's the April low. April low right here. And we're all the way up here at the top, okay, of quadrant 4. All right, so that makes us bullish. All right, but we're still in a downtrend. All right, because we haven't made a higher high. I mean, you could call it a higher high, that candle right there, if you wanted to. A one candle valley right there made a higher high, call it an uptrend. Either way, uptrend or downtrend that's not working out. SPY's bullish up here. We're very close to the all-time highs. You can see we got up as high as 685.77, and the all-time high is obviously 690. Okay, so we're about $4 and some change away. All right, for SPY. Weekly chart still in an uptrend. Obviously, you got the 3 riding up over the 8, 8 riding up over the 17. That's the green dots right here. So you got everything pointed up. You can see the 3's pointed up. The 8 is pointed up. That's the white line. And the dots obviously not pointed up, but you can see them rising higher and higher and higher. So obviously everything's moving up there. So we got an uptrend on the weekly chart. You're going to see the same thing on the monthly chart. Okay, you've got these green dots that keep rising up higher and higher. You got price candles on top of the 3 with daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. So we're in a monthly uptrend on SPY monthly. Nice monthly uptrend right there. So nice move right there for today. Okay, so what did we trade? Like I said, we traded the 10-minute downtrend and then the 10-minute uptrend and then some of this bullish consolidation along with a possible thriller trade that looks like it's going to probably make the higher high sometime in the aftermarket. So there's SPY on the 10-minute. We did the 2-hour. Let's take a look at QQQ. All right, so QQQ, same thing. See, this is the pre-market consolidation or pre-market activity. This is before the market opens. And you can see a clear red erases green. See, the bulls rallied price from this low up to this high, and then the bears ripped it all the way down here. So they erased everything that the bulls just did and more. So you had a red erases green entry right here, right where this red candle takes out this low. So right there was an entry for the 10-minute downtrend. All right, and then you had a 10-minute uptrend right through here. And then it went just into a bullish consolidation right there for QQQ. All right, so 10-minute. Let's take a look at the 2-hour. 2-hour chart, probably still in an uptrend. All right, 2-hour, if we zoom in here, it's hard to see, but we got a 2-hour is up over. Barely see it right here. That yellow line is up over the white one. So, like, I'm going to call it bullish consolidation because we came from down here, went up, and then over to the right. So, 2-hour bullish consolidation or uptrend, however you want to look at it. We're making higher lows right through here. QQQ on the 2-hour in an uptrend. I imagine if I go to a different chart over here. Let's see what we get with the QQQ on the 2-hour. When we take the post-market activity off, okay, so I'm going to take this off and this off. Take that off. And I'm going to take that off right there. Okay, so now you can see clearly taking the pre-market, post-market price action off. You've got the 3 is up over the 8. That's the white line. And you can see daylight right here between the yellow line and the white line, making this a 2-hour uptrend. Not really pointed up, but pointed over to the right. So 2-hour bullish consolidation right through there on the 2-hour chart for QQQ. Daily chart got a higher, let me make sure. Low there is 617.81. Low here is 617.52. Higher low, higher high. Closing over the bearish trap right here. Let me flatten this just a second. Okay. Closing over the bearish trap right here. And over the 17, that's the red dots and the green dots right here. Okay, up near the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. Now they got themselves in a downtrend just like the others by breaking this low right here, making a lower low. They won't be in an uptrend until they take out this high. All right, so they got to take out that high and they can be in an uptrend. Right now, they're in a downtrend that's not moving down. It's actually moving up and over to the right. So there's QQQ daily chart. Weekly chart, you can see uptrend clearly, green dots. Both of the moving averages are pointed up. You can see the candlesticks rise from the low up to the high, uptrend there. Monthly chart, still in an uptrend. Okay, you can see the candlesticks rising up higher, green dots, monthly uptrend on QQQ. Okay, let's take a look at IWM on the daily chart. All right, IWM got a higher low and a higher high, but closed inside, I'm going to call it inside a bearish trap under the 17 EMA and under the all-time high anchored VWAP right there. In the middle of quadrant 4 is bullish, still in a downtrend. They'd have to take out this high in order to negate the downtrend. So still a lot of work left to be done on IWM. They got to take out the high in order to convert this to an uptrend. The good news is ever since breaking the low, they haven't been moving down. They've actually been moving up and over to the right. So there's IWM. Bullish up here, but in a downtrend that's not working out. So there's IWM. Diamond Dow made a new all-time high today. Dropped a mic. It doesn't get any better than that. Okay? New all-time high. If you're making new all-time highs, you're in uptrends on all time frames, except maybe the 1 minute. Okay, so FNGU. Okay, FNGU got an outside day. It's a higher high and a lower low. We closed on FNGU. Not very strong. Closing underneath, I'm going to call it the bullish trap, and closing underneath the dots here. So not a very good close for FNGU. Not a strong close. I like it when they close at the end of the day at the high of the day. Clearly not. That's not happening on FNGU. So it's not looking good right now. But as long as they continue to hold the higher ground and keep moving up, I'm satisfied. But I do like to see it when they see, like at the end of the day here, we close near the high, close near the high. That didn't happen today. Okay, so that's not a good sign. Now, had we closed near the high, I really think that SPY would have made that thriller trade, would have made new all-time highs, but FNGU kind of crapped out on us. So FNGU, we got a low here. They made a lower low. So that puts them in a downtrend until they make a higher high, which is going to be up here. They'll still be in a downtrend. So price action still in a downtrend that's not moving down. They actually moved up and over to the right. So we'll see what happens with FNGU. Got a lot of that in a downtrend, but not moving down, moving up and over to the right. Don't like that candle right there. So in the middle of quadrant 4, that's bullish, and in a downtrend that's not moving down. It's moving up and over to the right. Let's take a look at gold and silver. Gold doing the thing today. Doing the dance. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over hooking 17 there, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish and in an uptrend. They made a higher high right here. See that candle? All right, we got a peak going up there. They took out the peak. They're now in an uptrend. Gold, bullish and in an uptrend and over all-time high. That's the all-time high anchored VWAP there. So that's bullish. Let's take a look at silver. All right, it's all-time high right here for silver. Look at silver. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17 EMA, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, at the top of quadrant 4, almost looking set up to run through the fence here and make a higher high. There's the all-time high, looking ready to just rip through the fence, make an new all-time high. Silver bullish. Look at that hook. And in an uptrend right there. So those of you that were with me in the room, you saw me box off gold. And if you were paying attention, I kind of said, this is my buy box right here. Okay, so if you're paying attention on silver, okay, you would have known that this is my buy box right here. Okay, and we came down in there. And look at the reward you got if you got some silver. All right, so silver and gold getting it done, bouncing off of that breakup candle low, anchored VWAP right down here. All right, so off that low of that consolidation, silver. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG got, looks like an inside day. We'll see. The high there is 1477. The high there is 1477. Equal high, higher low. Closing over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Closing over the 17 EMA. That's bullish. Closing underneath the 2025 anchored high, anchored VWAP. Not so bullish. Closing at the top of quadrant 1. That's still bearish, all right? But I do like the effort, all right? So it's not moving down. You can see clearly candles riding the 3, all right? You got a nice amount of daylight there between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. So clearly moving up. So it's in an uptrend. What we need out of UNG and USO is for them to move up and hold the higher ground. You can see when they get up here, 3 candles and they give it up. 2 candles, they give it up. 1 candle, they give it up. Double top, single candles, give it up. You know, double candle, 2 candles, give it up. You can see they have a really serious problem with holding the higher ground. All right, so this will be the test to see if they can climb on top of this 2025 high anchored VWAP and possibly hold the higher ground for once. Like to see them break out of the lower third. That's the bearish territory right there. So this candle right here, which is middle of October, we're in the middle of November. So a month ago, they made, look, an all-time low. So in the history of natural gas ETF, last month, 30 days ago, they made the lowest of all lows ever in the history of natural gas. Look at this. I mean, I could probably go out to the monthly. Okay, so this goes all the way back to, 2000. I'm going to call it 2007. Okay, so that's 10 years would be 2019, 2017. All right, and probably another 8 years. So, I mean, over 20 years of, am I got that right? No, not 20 years. Over 10 years or more of UNG, and just 30 days ago we hit the all-time low. So again, it's moving up, but I'm not excited till I start seeing it hold the higher ground. And that's the monthly chart. Here's the daily. Okay, so making the higher low, higher high. Again, down here, quadrant 1, that's still bearish in my eyes. Okay, you can trade it if you like it. It did make the higher low and the higher high. So UNGs, take a look at USO. All right, USO, clearly not in the upper third. That's up here. Clearly not in the lower third. That's down here. Making a lower high and a lower low. Okay, there's a low. They just made a lower low. Clearly in a downtrend right now, and in the neutral territory. So neutral and back to a downtrend. There's another one that just can't seem to hold the higher ground. Okay, so it's not ready yet. Okay, maybe all the EVs on the road are taking a toll on energy. I don't know. All right, you can see right here, one candle high gives it up, one candle high gives it up, one candle high. Here we got 4 candle highs. Well, 4 candles and then a huge red candle that wipes out everything that these 5 candles produce. So 3 candles, 3 candles, 2 candles, 1 candle. You can see clearly this has a problem holding the higher highs. And that is what I would like to see out of it before I started getting interest in the U.S. oil ETF or EFT or whatever it is. USO, that's oil. Let's take a look at our technicals. So yesterday we moved up and price action moved up. Today we went to the right and we actually held the higher ground and the market breadth increased. So that's a good sign, all right, for the bulls. When the market breadth and their participation increase while the market holds the higher highs. Okay, not giving up the higher ground. So that was nice. T2101 right there. So I'm expecting, I haven't even looked, what, T2122. I'm hoping it stayed in the buy zone and did not meander into the overbought zone. And they meandered into the overbought zone for a cup of coffee, and then they came back to the buy zone and consolidated here. Not liking the low, being lower lows, okay, but still holding this area up here above the buyer's chop, in the buyer's chop zone at the top and in the buy zone is nice. Don't like this zigzag. That shows me a wind up, and that is a wind up to the downside because we started from up here and we're winding up, looking like a measured move down to the midpoint right here. So not liking this at all. Not liking the look of it. Do like the performance holding the buyer's chop zone and the buy zone. Kind of what I said this morning that I'd be looking for. All right, let's take a look at T2123. Nice work there. Bullish gap up, not filled by the bears. Nice rip up and holding the higher ground. IWM didn't get a piece of that, I'll tell you that. Because IWM does not look like this. T2123, bullish gap, and the bears never filled it. That's a clue right there. Okay, and then you've got price that we're probably going to hang on to the bullishness that we have. Up over the fading 200 SMA. That's nice. Starting to fill some other bearish gaps. So you got a bearish gap here that needed to be filled. We filled it. See if we filled this one. We got another bearish gap here that needs to be filled, and another bearish gap here that needs to be filled. So still more bearish gaps out there that need to be filled. The good news is 15-minute is got a low making a higher low, all right, and you got a high making higher highs. Okay, so that's in an uptrend, and that's sight for sore eyes right there, is holding the higher ground. Okay, we haven't seen that all through here. Didn't hold any higher ground. Up here did not hold any higher ground. Finally, we're getting some hold. We did some yesterday. Hold of the higher ground up there. So that's nice to see. Okay, but remember, from the perspective of the pullback high, okay, the pullback low from the all-time high, we're still in quadrant 1. All right, so we need to break out of here. All right, that's nice on the 15-minute, but we need to make new highs on the 3-bar chart or some bigger time frames. This is nice, but clearly not out of the weeds yet. Again, we're still in quadrant 1. That's a bearish down here. Bullish is up here. At least be neutral. And we're on the north side of the fading 200, so that's a good sign for the bulls right there. And we're making bullish gap ups that aren't getting filled by the bears. So we have some hope that we may see some new all-time highs. Maybe next week sometime when ABGO reports. I don't know how the vote went on the government shutdown. If anybody knows, type it in there. If they had the vote, if they're still working on it, if it's going to show up at 7 o'clock. Love to know if we're going to get a flood of economic data coming in, because we haven't been getting all of our economic data due to the government shutdown. So I don't know if we're going to get a flood of economic data this week due to the government shutdown being solved. And now everybody goes back to work and gives us the numbers we've been waiting for. And it could be good, could be bad. We'll see what happens. So be on your toes tomorrow. We got CPI in addition to a possible end to the shutdown. Unless, of course, there was some snafus and things didn't get solved. We'll see. There's T2123 15-minute in an uptrend, okay, but still bearish down in quadrant 1. On the 3-bar chart, I see somebody. White House said jobs CPI data likely to be released. Okay, thanks, Fahad. Thank you. You can see right here. Here is the April low. Here is the all-time high. This is T2123 3-bar chart. From this perspective, we're still in quadrant 1, which is bullish, but clearly not moving up. All right, so got to make some higher highs. Moving up there, but there's the high to beat, and we haven't done it yet. We're still underneath the 200 on the bigger time frame. It's not even the daily chart. It's the 3-bar chart. That's like splitting the whole day up into 3 equal segments. So that's like a third of the day, and we're still on the third of the day. Have not got any higher highs yet. So still down here in quadrant 1 from the perspective of the all-time high to the pullback low. And you can see price action made a low, all right? And then we made a lower high. See the high right there? We made a lower high, and then we dug out a lower low, all right? So it's still in a downtrend until we make a higher high. Okay, we're underneath the 200 SMA, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear right there, and I'm not a bear. So there's T2123 down there. Still got a lot of work to do. Might not happen till next week, okay? Maybe next week things might look a little bit better, okay? But still not there on the 3-bar chart. Okay, so let's take a look at FNGU. That is bullish up there, but not over the 200 is not a good sign. And showing a bearish head and shoulders is not a good sign. And we're still in a downtrend is not a good sign. And we're in the bearish quadrant 1 from the perspective of the high is not a good sign. So we're bullish, but not very good signs. All right, not very good clues yet. Okay, nothing has been impressive enough to say, oh, we got this. Okay, it doesn't look like we got it. All right, after making a lower low. So let's take a look at FNGU. And FNGU was supposed to hold over the 200, and they did not. Okay, they did not hold over the 200. We needed them to hold over the 200. So let's take a look at what we got. We have a low. They dug out a lower low. All right, so no longer is FNGU in an uptrend. See that high? They were in an uptrend making a higher high. But now we went around and made a lower low. So on the 15-minute chart, we're back in a downtrend. And we're struggling here to hold up over the 200 SMA right there. You can see that 200 is no longer rising, no longer flat. It's actually kind of fading right here. So not good. So this is price action coming off of the major support, which is all the valleys in this consolidation or the spike candles down. So it was the major support that saved FNGU from, well, the whole market from falling apart was right here. Because this is 10 of the biggest heavyweights in the QQQ and the SPY. And those 10, when they move as a pack, they can drag both those indexes down with them. All right, regardless of what the other stocks or securities inside the indexes are doing, these 10 have the ability to they're just so over leveraged inside the indexes, they can just crush the whole index, just 10 stocks or 10 securities. So it's imperative that this stay either neutral or bullish. All right, and on the 15 right now we're in a downtrend, and we're dealing with the 200. I'm just going to say we're dealing with it because I do see some candles aftermarket over it, but I see plenty of candles underneath it too. All right, so there's FNGU. All right, maybe back into the minor, okay, support from the perspective of pulling back here. So we hit, this would be minor support. And you can see we just went right through minor support right there, all the way to major support. And now we're trying to climb back out and climb up over what was once the minor support. So this is now becomes kind of major resistance, really. So we need to climb on top of major resistance and make a lower high or a higher high. Either one, I don't care. That's FNGU. There's our technicals. There's the report. What did I do today? I traded, let's go over here to the market. Let's see what I traded. Made $46 on these puts right here. Okay, so looks like I just covered. I had some puts that were I sold, and I covered the puts. All right, so I made $46 on those. Made $3 on this put. I have it sold short. All right, because I got some puts long, so I have it sold short. Covered that put. Made $3 on that one. Lost 113 on these puts. 666. Okay, obviously they got 2 days left. I'm still holding some of them, so I'm not ready to give them up because I'm still seeing. I still see the bulls working it, but there's some pockets of weakness that I'm viewing. And you saw it with me with that FNGU and the T2123. All right, so you got some pockets of weakness. So I'm going to hang on to some of my puts for right now. Even though they're underwater, I'm fine with that. I make enough to overcome them being underwater. Okay, so made minus 13 on those, and I'm fine with that, losing 113 after all the gains I made earlier today. Okay, so 686 calls, lost $21 there. Clearly didn't. Oh, this is a daily chart. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at these on the perspective of the whole day. Okay, so back to these puts. Okay, sold short and bought the cover, made $3. Okay, these puts obviously sold short and I went long. Okay, I went long and sold right here to make $46. Okay, so I bought 300 shares, 300 contracts, and sold them up here to exit the whole trade with $46. Minus 113 puts. Again, you can see I was trading this 10-minute downtrend under VWAP, so I'm buying the lows of the candles, the option candle, not these candles. I'm buying the lows of the option candle, and as price dips down, my option price runs into my grid of sell orders up top. So you can see here I'm buying, selling, buying, selling. The blue orders represent the buys and the red equal the sells. So you can see buying and selling. So you can see clearly here's that double bottom. Here's that bottom and then another bottom. So double bottom right there. And then you can see obviously I stopped messing around with the puts because we didn't have a downtrend anymore. We have an uptrend. So we had an uptrend going on right through here, and then a pullback to the VWAP area right there. So clearly, so I lost 113 on those, trying to exit those at probably close to break even. Lost 21 on these 686 calls. Bought the lows, kind of sold the highs, and still got some of those. So I'm looking for these to go up higher. Made 4,900 on these calls, and that was nice. Traded this 10-minute uptrend. You can see where I had a 10-minute uptrend, and I bought and I sold into every rip up there. You can see the red dots. You can see where I'm selling into strength. Selling into strength. See, as price goes up, I sell my calls into that strength and then reload. All right, as price pulls back. See me reload as it pulls back and creates the low of the option candle and then sell into strength at the top. Okay, reload and then sell into strength. I just did that all day long. 689 0 DTE. Okay, those aren't going to be very much because price never got up to 689, but it became interesting in the 10-minute uptrend right through here, buying the lows and selling the highs, actually profiting 2,900 right there. Okay, so that's it for today. The big one was right here. I did like a little thriller trade at the end of the day. That was really exciting. See this? So I bought. This is kind of cool, so you can see what I bought. Okay, so I bought 100 at 3 cents. Okay, I bought 100 at 2 cents. Okay, get this, 400 at 1 penny. Okay, so there's like 600. Okay, now I'm selling them. Okay, so I sell 600 right there for 3 cents. All right, reload, buy another 200, sell those at 2 cents, selling those at 4 cents. Okay, then reload again right through here. And you can see me sell right into this rally where I'm selling some for 8 cents, some for 9 cents, some for 10 cents, some for 11 cents. All right, keep in mind I bought them for 1 cent. My average was probably 2 cents, and I'm selling them up here into these highs for 11 cents. That's a 500% gain, all right, because I bought them for 2 cents. You see what I'm saying? So, and we were ready for this thriller trade. I want to point that out to everybody, the thriller trade. Okay, so somebody asked me about it earlier in the room. So we got a low over here from yesterday. We failed to make a lower low. You can see here's the double bottom right there. Okay, so we failed to make a lower low. So we got a higher low. So we're looking for the bulls to be inspired to make the higher high. So we came up to VWAP, kind of consolidated over to the right. So I knew that there's a chance that the bulls may come in at the end of the day and rip the market up higher, because I see all of this consolidation back and forth. See price winding up. So after the double bottom, I looked for the higher lows on the 3-minute chart, and of course I spotted them, and I said this is probably going to rip to the upside. And I actually told people it'd probably rip up to like 685, 686, but didn't quite get that far. Got the ceiling up here at 684. All right, so didn't quite get that far, but there was juice in there to get there. They just didn't want to use it, I guess. But we traded this, made a lot of money on that. You can see my gains at the end of the day, 161, 61, 61. See all the gains? That's from selling. See, here's me selling 2 contracts up at 8 cents. There's one for 4.48. So I sold into strength right there. Okay, you can see I bought for 400, sell for 3 cents. So there's 161. All right, sell for 4 cents, 261, 3 cents, 161, 20 up here, 52 right there. So I'm selling them for at least more than 2 pennies higher than what I purchased them for. So that's it for me for today. That's the end of the day for me. I'll see everybody tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I want to thank everybody that hung out with me in the room. Glad you made some money on that thriller trade. I'll see you all tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Thank you, everyone. And what do we got here? Fahad says, reports for October will not be released due to the shutdown. And he said, thank you. All right. Okay, so maybe. We'll see what happens. I don't, you know what? I don't trust him. This guy tweets whenever he wants to. Anything could happen, all right, with this guy tweeting whenever he wants to. All right, he could release the numbers himself. You know, you just never know. Very chaotic sometimes. Okay, but he's getting stuff done, so I'm hoping he's going to get some stuff done. All right, so that's it for me for today. I'll see you all tomorrow at 8. Everybody have a beautiful evening.